Hi, and welcome to the A Quilting Life podcast. I'm Chelsi from Chelsi Stratton Designs.
And I'm Sherri McConnell from A Quilting Life.
And today it's Monday, June 24th. Things are just flying by, and we have so many fun things to talk about today. But first, Billy is going to tell us about our sponsor for this podcast, Cozy Earth.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Cozy Earth once again. I feel like I'm a veteran now that I've had over a month with my Cozy Earth sheets. And like my mom and sister have said, I too and Isabel, we've enjoyed them very much. They have been working well as the temperature keeps continuing to heat up here in Southern Nevada. We actually had some record-breaking heat for June just last week. It hit 110 earlier than it ever had before. And so probably out here, probably even hotter, right?
Yes.
Like 112 or so.
116.
Did it hit 116?
Yes.
Thankfully, I was
week?
in Dallas that
Yeah.
day.
Oh,
Really?
I was here. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Baking in my house.
I did caddy on that day. It had sort of an earlier start time, but it was definitely hot. But back to the sheets, they kept us cool throughout the night. If you haven't heard before, they are made from viscose from bamboo, and that has that cooling agent into it. So it essentially will take your body heat. I actually watched an interesting video about it, how it works. And basically it doesn't let the moisture stay. So it's like a natural drying agent, right? So what happens is if we all have moisture come out of our bodies that can sort of become like a little humidifier at night. And that's where you can get hot or cold, either way, depending on the temperature. So with that natural drying agent, that helps actually keep you cooler or warmer in the colder months. So anyway, we love our Cozy Earth products. They have other things, pajamas, towels, jogger pants. We've talked about all those. And to get our 30% off discount, you're going to click the link below in this description. It's cozyearth.com/pages/quiltinglife and use that link. That will let them know that you came there from our podcast, and you can get that 30% discount off anything site-wide. So thanks for Cozy Earth, and hope you guys stay cool this summer.
All right. Okay, so I think we'll just go right into it. There's a lot of things to talk about, but first, Mom has the quilts today.
Yes. And if you haven't heard, actually, this is a perfect time to share our fun news. I received it while I was in Dallas, and they are reprinting Strawberry Lemonade. And
I literally don't even know what to think. I found out just I was checking my email.
right.
And it was just the regular Moda email. Hey, Strawberry Lemonade reprint. These are the dates.
Right.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And I immediately texted Chelsi a screenshot of the email, and she said, I know, I just opened my email too. So that was really fun because they really don't reprint collections very often. So great. Really super excited about it. Now, about that, the window for shops has already closed. So if you want to get some of that reprint, I suggest that you reach out to your quilt shop, ask them if they did the reorder, and if they did, maybe you could reserve it. And that is the best way to go on that.
But at first, I didn't think it was actually. I almost didn't believe it, but then I guess Kimberly talked about it on her live stream.
Yes.
And then some women at ModaVations had talked to you about it, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So in honor of that, I chose 2 quilts that I made with Strawberry Lemonade. And so on the wall, I have Coastal Summer, and this is a Fat Eighth quilt, and just one of my favorite medallion quilts. I have 3 medallion quilts I've done now. And just absolutely love this one so much. And it really does. It uses the Fat Eighth bundle, and you can mix in the low volumes for backgrounds, and really, really love this one. On the table, I have Garden Star Sampler, and this is also in Strawberry Lemonade. And again, I absolutely just love mixing in some of the low volumes for the block backgrounds. This is actually a fat quarter quilt. And those are the quilts.
I like that you did the aqua plaid as the sashing, as part of it, because it's just a tiny strip of it throughout.
It's super, yeah, I love using the gingham
Yeah.
as the sashing. So
Super cool. I love that. Okay, so that was fun, exciting news.
Yes.
Do we have anything that we're sharing today?
So also, if you haven't seen the video that I did recently on Caterpillar products for quilters, we will put a link to that video. They actually sent me a few fun products to try, and I did an kind of an unboxing and talked about it. So Billy will put a link to that video, but also they have something that's just come back in stock, which I am ordering today. It is a light for your sewing machine that has three different
Like levels of
brightness. Thank you.
You are so
and
welcome.
It'll reach, it's bendable, so it'll reach exactly where you want it to go. So I can't wait to order that. But we did film a video on some of their cutting mats and their lighted cutting boards and just really some fun projects for quilters.
Very cool. I love it. Did you want to share your cute little thing on the table or no?
I'm going to talk about these when I talk about ModaVation.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Billy and I were like, that's what we
this.
both thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then
Never
we'll
mind.
jump into the listener quilts now. And the first one here is a happy-go-lucky pattern and this was actually sent to you, Mom, and my mom sent it to me.
Yes.
And this is from Cindy. She said, "Here is my version of happy-go-lucky using my reproduction fabrics. I really enjoyed choosing the fabric from my stash, as I have always felt that I struggle when it comes to choosing fabrics for a project. Thank you for a great pattern." She also said, and this was before the reprint, "I just purchased a jelly roll and charm pack of strawberry lemonade and can't wait to make something with them. I really enjoy listening to the podcast and try to watch on YouTube whenever I get a chance. Thank you for the variety of topics you share with us. I especially enjoy your reading list. Congratulations on reaching 100,000 subscribers." And so thank you very much, Cindy.
You.
Glad to hear you got some strawberry lemonade. Now there's going to be some more available hopefully soon.
Right. Thank you.
Well. And great job with the quilt too. That was really, actually, I forgot to mention that.
And that was completely my intention with that pattern too. So I love all these versions that have been sent in because I thought it worked well with our Simply Delightful fabrics, but then it really was my thought that it would also be such a great scrap buster quilt.
Yeah.
So
it is.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one, and actually before I get into it, I'm going to have a couple questions for you, Chelsi, because this is a Miss Magnolia. And this seems to have been a popular quilt lately that's being shared but also Magnolia. So remind me and maybe some of the audience, which one was first, Magnolia or Miss Magnolia, and what collections they were in?
Okay, so Magnolia was a quilt pattern with our Seashore Drive collection, and it is a smaller block. And then when we had the Strawberry Lemonade collection, I really wanted to take that and make it larger and just make a couple changes. And so Miss Magnolia is the second quilt in it. I just love, sometimes I'm like, I love a block so much. I'm like, let's blow it up. Let's make it bigger. And
so it is similar, but just bigger, like the actual blocks.
Yeah, there's a few like minor tweaks, but essentially the same block that I had originally designed for Seashore Drive.
Okay. Yeah, it's
a favorite. Magnolia is especially a favorite pattern.
Gotcha.
Among quilters.
And I think you shared it in one of the recent episodes too.
Yeah,
that's why I was like, wow, I've been seeing Magnolia or Miss Magnolia a lot lately. Okay. So with that, this is from Jenny. She said, "Sherri, Chelsi, and Billy, I cannot describe how much I enjoy your podcasts and videos. They're so informative, encouraging, and inspiring. I have found myself laughing out loud at some of your interactions. I recently finished Chelsi's Miss Magnolia pattern and couldn't be happier at how it turned out. I added an extra row of blocks to accommodate my bed. I love that I chose chambray for my background. Is that right?
Yeah, chambray.
Chambray. Okay.
Chambray.
Chambray for my background. The long arm quilting was done by Pam Mildren, who did a wonderful job. You both have our permission to show these photos, so thank you. Thank you, ladies, for your beautiful patterns and fabrics. I am working on the Moonbeams charity quilt with your strawberry lemonade fabric. It's gorgeous. And Laguna Sunrise looks so sweet." She said, "My only complaint is that I can't keep up with your fabric and pattern releases so many quilts in so little time, and I'm retired."
Yeah.
So again, that's from Jenny.
From Jenny.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
I just have to make a couple comments if I can. I loved that you did the chambray. She did the chambray for the background. I love when there's a darker background on a quilt. So when I see it and mixed with, my quilt patterns, I love it. I thought it was really, really nicely done. And I also think it's cool that she mentioned her quilter's name that long-armed it. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And this last one here is a starlight quilt, but it was made using Camille Ross Kelly's fabrics.
Yes. I love seeing, in fact, that's kind of a question that I get asked sometimes. And I was actually asked it last week. Do you mind if I sew your pattern with somebody else's fabric? And I always say, sew it with whatever you want to sew it with. Yeah. I love seeing all the different versions. So, and I know this starlight quilt that Billy's going to show is a 4-block version. And I love that too. If you don't want to make the whole pattern, cut it down and make it to where it fits your space.
Exactly. Yep. Or if you want to make it bigger and add more blocks like the previous quilt where it fits a bed, that's awesome too.
Right. And Starlight has been really popular lately too. It actually was a pattern that came out with our Summer Suite collection, and that's been a few years, but I just recently updated it into booklet format.
Yeah.
And so I love having it in that booklet format.
Awesome. Okay, so I found it. I lost it for a sec, but I found it.
You got it, guys.
This is from Allison. She said, "Hi, Sherri, Chelsi, and Billy. I wanted to share a quilt I recently made using Sherri's Starlight pattern and Camille Ross Kelly's Nantucket summer fabrics. We have a big staircase wall in our house." She said, it's a fun fact, it was built in 1887. Wow. That's cool. "And I decided a gallery wall of mini quilts would be the perfect way to fill the space. I love how these first two have turned out, and I'm excited to gradually add a few others. I also tried big stitch hand quilting for the first time and really enjoyed that unique touch. My mom and I are both quilters and love your podcast. Keep the pretty fabrics and enjoyable content coming." And this from Allison from Kansas City.
Oh, thank you.
I love it.
Yeah. And I loved how she sent the picture where it's on the stairwell.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for those really good submissions this time. And with that, I think we'll jump into the meat of the podcast here. And like my mom said, she was saving some of the things she has there for that. And we're going to start out with my mom actually talking about her recent trip to Dallas for the ModaVation retreat. We had mentioned it in the previous podcast that she was, we did that before she went. So now she can come back and sort of tell us all the things that were going on there and everything that happened with her.
Yes, I am so excited to talk about this retreat. And I've been home now for not quite a week. So I've really had some time to kind of process the takeaways. But for those of you who don't know what it was a retreat that was hosted by Moda. It was their inaugural event of this type for shop owners. And so they advertised it early in January through email to all their shop owners, and it filled up very quickly. And so we had I believe there were over 90 women, and there were a couple of men too that were there. And then the whole Moda staff was on board, and it was just basically a 4-day event. Actually, it kind of stretched out to 5 for a lot of people, but I'll just kind of start with Monday. So Monday, everyone arrived to Dallas, and we were all staying at the same hotel, which was great because it allowed for you to mix and mingle with people in the hotel lobby. And there was actually a bar, and they had some food in the lobby that you could order if you needed to. But Monday afternoon, there was kind of a mix and mingle event in the lobby, and they had hors d'oeuvres and just kind of at first, I think then that everybody was not knowing everybody yet, but just a lot of fun conversations. And then Monday night, Barb kicked it off with her class, Barb of me and my sister. And let me just tell you, I was exhausted from traveling. I mean, traveling just wears you out. But I went into Barb's class for a little while, and she had people popping balloons and doing all sorts of fun games. And she had all these giveaways, and she taught a really fun class. And that went until I think 10 o'clock at night. So wow. It was a long night. I didn't make it till the end of Barb's class. I just had to go get to bed. So Tuesday was a phenomenal event. All of the shop owners traveled to the Moda warehouse. We had 15 passenger vans, several of them that transported us. It was just a short drive from the hotel to the Moda warehouse. And some of my favorite van drivers were Bob from Moda.
Bob!
And Doug Lico also drove. I heard that Eric Figueroa did a van drive one day.
I would pay to be in Eric's van.
Yes. So
pay
great.
Good money.
And then Peter, who's a warehouse manager there at Moda, he was also one of the van drivers. So anyway, we loved getting in our vans and heading over. But the Tuesday program was basically put on by the Creative Retailer organization, which is Heidi Kaisend is the one who founded that. And if you're a shop owner and you're not aware of what that is, you really need to subscribe to the Creative Retailer magazine, and you'll just learn so much. But Heidi put together a phenomenal team of people who talked to the shop owners about all different things. Heidi herself talked about things she'd learned as a shop owner. There was Tracy there who talked about social media, and she had us all changing our Instagram bios while within an hour of her talk. There was a gentleman who talked about budgeting for shop owners, and let's see, Jennifer Keltner, who was formerly the editor of American Patchwork Quilting, and then who went on to be the CEO of Martingale. She gave a fabulous presentation where she came in a unicorn costume and had everybody dancing to Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I mean, there was just never a dull moment. And all of these presentations were geared for businesses. So really fun day. I actually missed, the one that I missed was the budgeting presentation, because I actually went over to a different warehouse at Moda during that and filmed a couple videos for them. So you'll see those coming up soon.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday night, our dinner was, I believe that was the Mexican food. Yes, that was, I think it was called Lupe Tortilla. It was fantastic Mexican food they had catered for us at the warehouse. Really, really good. Our lunches were great too. We had an In-N-Out burger truck one day.
Oh my goodness.
We had barbecue one day. We had sandwiches. I mean, the food was phenomenal. So then Tuesday night was my class, and I taught English paper piecing with my hexagons, and we did a cute little project. I have a pattern that has 3 smaller projects in it that are fabulous for shop owners to introduce their customers to that. And it was really fun because there are other ways to do this. You can use fusible interfacing, and some of the shop owners preferred that method. But it was really fun because a lot of them said, I use this other method, but I'm going to try your method. And it just made my heart so happy because some of them said, wow, I really liked this handwork.
Yeah.
It was really fun to see. And some of them weren't willing to try, and that was fine too. They actually finished way before everyone else, and their projects were beautiful, and that was fine too. But it did make my heart just happy when there were several who said, I thought I was going to hate this, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I love that. My class went till 10:30 that night, so that was that was my longest day. And
were all the people in the class, they were all shop owners?
Yes.
And so they might now in turn take what they learned and go run classes themselves at their own shops?
Exactly. And that was the founding idea behind these classes, that they would go back with samples made or almost finished for their shops. And actually teaching the class gave me a great opportunity to just walk around, and it's hard to teach 90 people. And I would just, at one point I realized that I had started on step 2 with everyone in the room except for one table. I hadn't gotten to step 1. So I had to run back over to them, and I gave them step 1 and step 2 at the same time. But yeah, usually I teach classes of 25 to 50 at the most, but 90 is
a
thing. It's a thing. And I did have great helpers. I actually had Dana and Dawn, who...
Oh, thank goodness.
Dana actually, we cruised together a few years back in 2016. I did a cruise with Stitch in Heaven, and Dana was on that cruise with me. So we had worked together before, so that was great. And her assistant, Dawn, was actually Erin's mother from Moda. If you know Erin, so her mom was there helping too.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and Erin and Josh from Moda planned, and I know everybody had a hand in it, but I think it was Erin's kind of project. So anyway, lots of opportunities for me to get to talk to the shop owners. Just a quick rundown of Wednesday and Thursday, and then I'll just give you my overall takeaways. But so Wednesday started the designer schoolhouse sessions back over at the Moda Warehouse, and these were presentations that we gave geared to shop owners, giving them ways that they could grow their business. And on Wednesday, we started off with Joanna Figueroa, and she gave a great presentation on Block of the Month programs, and she just gave them these wonderful, wonderful tips. Stacy Asue talked about doing classes for children and some of her cut and sew projects and how they could use them. Lisa Bonjean talked about getting that fabric out of your shop, different ways to move the fabric.
Oh, good.
She gave some great ideas. Barb talked about a monthly charm pack program and just was incredibly generous and gifted everyone in attendance with this incredible set of patterns that they'll be able to take back to their shops and use. Yes.
So cool.
And if you weren't there, this program that Barb has, it will be available from Moda in the near future. So when that's available, I'll let you know, because it's a great program that Barb worked out. And then my presentation talked about kind of 3 different things. I talked about growing your business with an email list and how fundamental that has been to my business. And I also talked about YouTube and a little bit about our growth. And then I also talked about time management and productivity. So I felt like that was super helpful for the shop owners, because by this point, they were feeling so overwhelmed. They had taken in so much information to grow their businesses that they were
it's a lot.
Yeah. And while all of this was happening, they were also getting tours of all of the Moda warehouses. So they were taking the shop owners. The Moda designer schoolhouses were actually, we had just half the group in each of our schoolhouses.
And that's how they did it. Okay.
Right. And so then the other half would be at the other warehouse.
Yeah. How do you get like everyone?
Right.
That's good that they had it all.
Yes. So that was phenomenal. And I actually hadn't been to Dallas since 2019, and the design and marketing teams are in a new building.
Yeah.
And so I got to have a tour of that as well. It's just an incredible new space that they have to work in. And that's where the film studio was that I filmed. It was just really phenomenal. So Wednesday night, let's see who taught. I think Stacy taught, and also Chrissy of Sew Luxe. She taught a little bag class. They brought her in to teach that. And she also gave a phenomenal schoolhouse on using kits to grow your business and get that fabric moving. And just terrific ideas from Chrissy, too. I really enjoyed her presentation. And then Thursday was kind of repeat, where the people who had gone on the warehouse tour now got to hear from the designers and vice versa.
So you did your presentation Wednesday and Thursday.
Right. So I did my presentation twice.
But you only taught your class once on Tuesday night? Okay.
Yes. So the class was Tuesday night, and then I gave my presentation Wednesday and Thursday. And Friday, a lot of people headed home, but a lot of shop owners went over to Moda and did shopping at the warehouse.
Yes.
Yes. And they were given a discount code that they could
so cool.
use. Yeah. So it was phenomenal. I loved that. Kind of the main takeaways were a lot of the shop owners really had no idea what was in Dallas. And so it was really educational for them. A lot of them got to meet other shop owners, whether in their state or from a different state, and where they could kind of network and share ideas. And I noticed that they sat a lot of them by people who are geographically in their region that they.
Oh, cool.
Yes, that they
so
might.
they would know each other.
Right. It was great. And there were a couple shop owners there that I already knew. That was really fun to see them again. And then I met so many more. And I loved that they would ask questions, whether we were on the van riding to the warehouse or come up to me at dinner or in a class and just, express their concerns or ask questions. And it really made me think about what we can do for shop owners more, because as designers, there are ways that we can help them by giving them maybe a little bit of advance notice of some of the things we're going to do. If we are going to have a sew along, we can let the shop owners know that this is going to happen, and then they can get kits ready. So I am starting an email list just for shop owners, and we'll have a link to that in this description. So don't sign up for that if you're just a customer. Just stay on that normal customer email list. But if you are a shop owner interested in advance notice of some of our things, sign up for that email list. And the last thing I wanted to mention, I think, about that is just that we designers had such a great time together too.
Yeah.
So I actually got to spend time with some designers that, maybe you see them at Quilt Market and you go to lunch with them one day, but you're not there with them 5 days.
Yeah, this was different.
So really appreciated that time that I got to spend with all of them. And I think I got to have conversations with everybody. So it was really nice. I'm not saying if, I know they're going to do it again. So sign up quick, because
it'll fill up.
It will fill up. And I feel like everyone who was there asked Moda, can we have first notice? Because we want to come back.
Yeah.
That's how much they loved it. So,
wow.
Just a phenomenal event. I have my ModaVation t-shirt on.
Share with us what Tammy made.
So Tammy, who used to work at Moda, who is now retired, and her friend Dawn Cornell, they made these great badge holders for everyone in attendance and Moda employees. So I don't know what the total number was, but well over 100.
That's handmade.
Handmade.
Wow.
It's beautiful. And there's a pocket in the back if you want to stick your cell phone in. There's a zipper pocket right here if you need to put your room key in there. It's quilted. My name badge just slips. I've got my howdy pin that Moda gave me, kind of covering that, but I can pull the name badge out. And Moda gave us the cute howdy pin and the Dresden pin. And this was one of my favorite things that I brought back. Another favorite thing, the shop owners got these incredible Miori large utility totes that Moda sells, full of notions.
Like
Goodies, yes.
Yeah. That's the first thing. When I walked into the room this morning, I'm like, the bag.
The bag is so awesome. This would be such a great bag to order. And
it's sturdy. It's like, this bag is not going to break.
Yeah. I'm so grateful to have, I'm so glad I got one of the ModaVation bags. And notions in here. This one was such a cool thing.
What is it?
It's a cutting mat from Olfa, but it worked out well for everyone to have them at their sewing stations.
Wow.
Yes, because when you have 90 people sewing in one room.
It's like the perfect size for like the smaller projects.
Yes. So this was great. And there's just a ton of great. I love clipboards too. I was so excited I got the ModaVation clipboard and notebook. And
that is so cool.
So yeah, just an incredible event. And the last thing I just want to finish with, because I know a lot of people listening to the podcast aren't shop owners, but your shop owners, they are hardworking women, they and men. They go the extra mile for you all the time, and they just, love you, and they love what they do. It's a job that's not 9 to 5 for sure. And every time I hang out with shop owners, I just have so much respect for all of their hard work.
Yeah.
And it keeps everything moving forward too. They do with their shops. I had a quick follow-up question now that you mentioned that though. These were all shop owners that were like independent brick and mortar shops, right? Maybe were they all just one shop? Did some of them have multiple shops or
online? Maybe
there were some online shops only that came too.
Okay.
A lot of brick and mortar. Some of the brick and mortars also have an online component to their business.
Okay.
Some of them were really new. There was a woman from Central Washington State. I think she's only been in business less than a year. So you had people like that who were new, but then you had a couple ladies that I talked to from Indiana. They had some great stories. They've been in business 17 years.
Wow.
So that was really fun, and they could give great advice. And, there was everything in between, and probably some that might have been in business longer too. But yeah, just a variety of different types of stores, modern shops, traditional shops, people who had never purchased our fabrics and people who loved our fabric. It was just great. A great mix.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So some people may have met you for the first time and like now, maybe, we'll check out your fabric. Maybe we'll order some in.
Right.
Like you have some of those type of interactions as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So it was like a good networking as well for the designers and the quilt shop.
Yes,
owners.
Networking for everybody. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, geez, that was
a lot.
Yeah.
That was like a whole podcast.
Well, I mean, but yeah, I figured it would be with you being gone a whole week and just talking to my mom briefly. She's just like, I didn't have. I said, oh, did you do anything? Check out this or that. And she's like, I had no time. Everything was scheduled from start to finish. So
yeah.
You didn't really do any other Dallas sightseeing, I'm guessing.
No other Dallas sightseeing other than the Moda warehouses are such great places to be. And this was what was fun too. There was a little designer display area. They had each of us send some quilts, and so we each had a little display area. And anyway, I had sent my Together quilt, and it was so fun because there were actually a few bolts of Sincerely Yours still there.
Really?
And this one shop owner, she had never seen that quilt. And it was so fun because I saw her, and in her cart were all the Sincerely Yours.
She got it?
She got it all, and she's going to make a sample. I love it. And that was so much fun to see it, that they love it. And another couple things that were really fun, the Moda Warehouse has a library where they have, I think it's a half yard or a yard of every print they've ever printed, and they store it by designer. So it was really fun for me to see.
We finally have a stack.
We have a stack now. It was actually in 2 different layers of the shelf. And so that was really fun to see that.
That's crazy because our 20th collection will be sharing soon.
Yes.
So that's cool that we...
Yeah. And some of those shop owners got to see it. They were not allowed to take pictures when they were over there in the marketing and design building. They were not, but a couple of them came up to me and they were like, wow, we're so excited.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
Yes.
Well, maybe some of them have photographic memories.
Yes.
Keep that image stored.
Yes.
That's funny.
Good deal. Sounds like that was overall tiring but worth it trip, huh?
Yes. And my travels were good. Nothing like the travels that Chelsi and I had.
You don't have that
from Austin. Nope. My Dallas flight was only delayed 10 minutes.
I am so happy for you.
I can take a 10-minute delay any day.
We can do it. We can survive anything now.
Yes.
The airport.
And this is a funny story. Barb and I were actually going home at the same time, and we were flying out of Dallas Love Field. And so I said, well, I'll get a lift for us. We can share it. And I put Comfort Plus for my choice because I knew there were 2 of us and lots of suitcases. Yeah. I had 2 suitcases and a bag, and she had a big suitcase and a bag. And so, you know what kind of car shows up on Economy Plus? Comfort Plus?
What?
A Dodge Charger.
And
our driver was great, but his eyes got really big when he saw all our luggage. And I said, are we going to fit? And he's like, I think so.
Why is he on Comfort Plus?
I don't know, but we made it fit. There was a suitcase in the front seat.
In the front seat.
A suitcase between us, and then the rest.
Because it's supposed to be like an SUV,
it's
right?
It's supposed to be an SUV.
I don't know what Comfort Plus
Normally
means.
it shows an image of the size of the vehicle on lift.
It looked like a bigger car, and then but anyway. He was a great driver, and he got us there safely.
Hey, there you go.
And he was very friendly, and we fit. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Well, so to wrap up this episode, our second topic here today, it's, believe it or not, halfway through 2024, right?
So crazy.
And between all the traveling, my wedding, I feel like it's gone by pretty quick. Would you guys agree with that?
Definitely.
Yes.
And I was going to say all of your kids' stuff and sports as they get older.
Yeah.
It's picking up. And then, was this your third out-of-state trip, Mom, this year? Because didn't you go to something in California?
Yeah. Well, I went to one in Utah at the end of January, but that was just a driving a couple hours away. But then I did go to Southern California to Temecula. Mm-hmm. And
then
that was in March.
Fat Quarter Shop.
And then we went to Fat Quarter Shop, and now Dallas. Yeah.
So for you, it's been four quilting related out of state trips for you.
Me just one, and but then Market will be second.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Okay. So amongst all of these different travelings and everything, how do you feel your year's gone so far as like meeting some of your goals? Or, we're sort of at the halfway mark. So typically we always do like, well, how are you guys doing with your goals for the year, and what different things have popped up? How do you feel it's gone so far?
I feel like I've been busier than I thought I was going to be. I think I didn't realize how much time the Family Favorites book, sewing and designing, would probably take.
Yeah.
So, but I still feel like I've kind of kept it pretty low key. I've said no to things in as much as I could in other areas to keep to where I didn't feel overwhelmed with all of this.
Yeah.
I did kind of look back. I always do a mid-year review anyway, and I actually started one afternoon in Dallas. I actually started working on that. I had some time. I think it was either Wednesday or Thursday that I finally got a little time, and I did start working on my mid-year review. But I did notice that I had the goal back in January to finish a work in progress each month. I have not done that. I had the goal to make a mini log cabin quilt and like a king size version.
Oh, wow. I remember that.
I remember you talking about that.
Cow. I have no desire to do that now. I have a different project in mind that I'm going to film a video about.
Desire.
It actually might have already aired because I think this is the 24th. I think my new project to replace the mini log cabin is going to air on the 17th.
Okay.
So, but I have kept up with a couple of things. I have kept up with my weekly reviews, which I feel is so important. And that was also something I shared with the shop owners, like keep a list of what you've finished and accomplished, because then when you're discouraged that you're not getting anything done and you feel overwhelmed with what is still left to do, you can go back and see that you really did get some things done.
Yeah.
So I love keeping a done list. And then cleaning the office too. I actually just did it last night before we taped this. And I think that's a habit I've been maybe not kept up with as frequently as I wanted to, but I'm doing better than last year. So I was happy.
Yeah. I feel the same. I did not anticipate being as busy as I have been this year, but that's also just a mix of like kids stuff too. I did not realize, like, once your kid hits middle school, it just is like a blur. Like, I thought it was a blur before, but
right,
it is a blur because it's sports this, and my oldest daughter's committed to a basketball team, and it's like year round, and so it's just a lot. But I do feel like everything that has needed to get done has gotten done. And also I'm still sewing right now, but some things I obviously haven't gotten to, but I feel like top 3 I'm still really, really good about. Sometimes I get carried away and I do get that 20 bullet point list, because you do it too.
Yes.
But just even yesterday, I did a few things, and the no phone thing, I feel like I'm not as good as I really want. I feel like at first I was doing really well. My goal was to do the top 3 before I really touched my phone. But sometimes like I really do need to check my email. Right. And even like this week, if I hadn't been on my email and seen a very, very important email, that was helpful that I saw that and stuff. So the phone thing got to be better at. It's just when you get to the point where you're scrolling too, honestly, where you just get stuck. But I think the other one was pushing my creativity. And I just have to say, I just turned in a fabric line where I just did that. And I'm very proud of myself and did something new and different for a collection we just turned in. So I don't know. I feel like, honestly, I'm not going to be too hard on myself. This year, I feel like has been good. It's just been busy. And yeah, so.
Well, yeah, because I was listening to the podcast where we went over 2024 goals on the way out here this morning. And it was one where Chelsi had missed because of illness. But she had given me her goals and I read them out loud on the podcast. It was like at the end of January. But yeah, that thing you just mentioned about pushing yourself. I remember you said, trying something new design wise that you hadn't done before. And like she just said, that's upcoming, right? So you have done that. You did push yourself creatively. And I remember in that episode, I was asking a little, again, you weren't here, Chelsi. I asked Mom about like your design process and how you hand draw everything. And Mom had mentioned how she might like write or draw something small and let you sort of take it and go with it to like the next level. Mom said it looks like a kindergartner drew it. Probably not entirely true, or what do you think, Chelsi? How is Mom's artistic skills?
Well, the cheater hexagon print, I actually did not hand draw that one. I did do it on EQ. Remember?
Okay.
It was still really sloppy. Chelsi had to do a ton of work.
That was like, but honestly though, I'm really grateful because the hexie was huge. That is so popular.
Yes.
It was crazy. So if Mom had, and I honestly didn't want to do it. I was trying to get out of it. I'm like, I think it's too late, Mom. I don't know if I
really?
want.
She did. Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really want to ask them if this is something that might go. And Mom's like, I'll ask them. And I'm like, oh man.
Yeah. And I mocked it up and I emailed it to them.
Yeah.
And then they were like, yeah, Chelsi, go ahead and do that.
And I think if anything pushed me, I feel like after that I could do anything. I'm like, I can design anything now. Like that was so hard for me to wrap my brain around and just.
And this is the cheater print?
That was the cheater print. But guess what?
Oh yeah, but it worked out.
We did it once and maybe we're doing it again because now I'm used to it. But I can't help but give away little tidbits right now because guys, we say this every time. My husband even said yesterday, he was like, when the new fabric got in, I was like, it's my favorite. And Mason's like, Chelsi, you guys say this every time. And I'm like, but really, it's my favorite. And he's like, you say the same thing every time. But
and I didn't even mention this. While I was in Dallas, my sample yardage was delivered to my home.
I don't know how you weren't freaking out that you weren't here.
My husband had really specific instructions. Take those boxes in, get the fabric out of the boxes.
Yeah.
Anyway, and when I came home, though, he had left it all down there in the family room.
Oh, my goodness. I died. I was at the house because my dad helps me take my daughter to basketball, and it's in a city like 30 minutes away. And it was like some was on the coffee table. some was just on like a decorative shelf. It was all over the downstairs family room. And I'm like, it reminded me of the story Amelia Bedelia, because you tell Amelia Bedelia to do something and she does it a totally different way, but she's like, but that's the way you said to do it.
Right.
So Dad just took the fabric out of the box and started placing it all over the house. Yeah. I was dying.
Yes.
And I thought, Mom did not tell him to do this.
Yeah.
But he got it out of the box.
He got it out of the box.
Mine was perfectly put on a shelf immediately in order by color and, all the stuff.
And that was the first thing I did. I was so exhausted that Friday night when I got home, but we did stop and eat in Las Vegas on the way home. So that was good. But I left my stuff all downstairs, and I carried that fabric up and put it on my empty shelves that were waiting for it. So
what's the most important? Clothes or
yes,
the fabric?
So now we're both happily sewing with this new collection.
I actually I want to go home and sew immediately because it's just pretty fabric, and I'm excited about the new designs. And so,
and I have to mention in that episode too, I just mentioned a couple things for me, but there's one that I'm going to bring up again. I didn't even talk to Chelsi about this before.
Oh, no.
And I think it might be going on like over a year and a half now since we first thought of it. But like the little project that me and you were talking about.
Oh, yes.
And doing a video with.
Someday, guys. Someday.
Yep, so
Billy and I are going to do it.
Have we done it this year? No, but no. I knew it probably happened in the first half of the year. Maybe I was always thinking perhaps summertime would be the time to do it.
After she's done with these new quilts.
After I'm done with the new quilts.
Kids will get back in school. The wedding's over.
My whole plan, you guys, is so it's June 24th when this airs. I want to be done by July 15th with everything.
Yes.
And then I want a few weeks with just no work at all so I can focus. Because then it's school. School starts right up. And it goes right back into it. Like, I cannot believe this period of my life.
So
long.
Let's calm it down. Don't want you to get too over anxious here.
Yeah,
let's think about some good things. Do you have any vacations planned for this summer? Any relaxing trips you're going to do? Okay. And you don't have to tell details, but just wanted to make sure.
You're going to be so proud of me. I just booked like a trip for me and Mason.
Awesome.
And then we also are.
We'll be watching all the kids.
Oh,
Yes, I very quickly was like, are these dates available? But my husband needs a vacation. That guy has put in the work. And then us and the kids are also getting a house and staying somewhere for a little bit. And we like to do this because then we just go school shopping while we're there.
Yes, that's helpful.
Yeah, it's also very convenient that my husband has a softball tournament that he's playing in that weekend as well. So
what month is that? Is that July
it's
also?
July.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all your traveling is July.
So you're doing a couple's vacation and a family vacation.
And a family vacation. And then we always take the kids to go get all their new school clothes and supplies. And we just stay in a house and try to find one preferably with a pool so they can just swim and stuff. So
awesome.
Yeah, and I've got 2 trips planned too.
That are just relaxing trips,
the Salt Lake trip, we're actually taking Chelsi's middle child. We take the grandchildren when they turn 10.
They turn 10.
On a little trip. So
you're not counting that as relaxing?
I don't know. I think she's going to be super easy to travel with.
Well, Billy knows what kid it is, and it's going to be eventful. She is very mischievous.
Yeah,
so
I'll have to stay on my toes, but 10 is a great age to travel with.
Yeah.
And my grandparents took me to Florida when I was 10, and I've always remembered that. And so when our oldest granddaughter was 10, we did a little trip with her, and now it's grandchild number 2's turn.
Yeah. But she also is my funniest child.
Yes, she will be fun.
She makes everyone in the family just roll on the floor laughing.
Yes.
She's just very witty. Says the funniest things.
Yes. But then my husband and I do have a trip planned in July also. So.
Yeah. For your birthday.
For my birthday and for after this fabric is shared.
Yeah.
So actually I'll probably be sharing about it a little bit on the trip.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe
you can schedule your
schedule everything. Yes.
Your productivity. You're so good at that.
Yes.
So.
All right. Well, I think that's a pretty good mid-year recap for everyone, and it's been busy, and it's gonna more things to do, but hopefully everyone can take a chance to take a deep breath this summer too as well.
Yes. Well, our next episode will air on Monday, July 8th. So that will be after the 4th of July. So happy 4th of July to everyone.
Everyone stay safe.
Stay safe.
Your pets do well.
Yes.
That's what my 4th of July is now. Just babysitting my Jack and making sure he's okay.
Calm.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And thanks so much for stopping by.